Very happy.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah. Our children they really enjoy living like this.
Yeah.
每个人呢就纯粹过来
对呀，那
消费的，
别的任何度假旅游不是
那就变成农。
This is my husband, Jostein.
Oh, hi.
We live in this house
Guanhua.
and he is from Norway actually.
Hello.
Meillä on oikeastaan jo hirveän kauan aika, yli 10 vuotta sitten ollut sellainen ajatus, että olisi kaikenlaisia tanssia ja kaikki. Et siinä on niinku, meillä on ideana se, että tässä on niinku yksityinen ja sitten yhteinen. Tämä ei ole yhteisomistuksessa, nämä on niinku omat talot, mutta sitten me tehdään yhteisiä asioita. Se on niinku se idea.
Me lämmitetään tämä joka toinen päivä.
Mutta ei nyt, ei kesällä.
Talvella. Ja sitten se huonelämpö on 22.
Aha, okei. 所以冬天他们每隔2天烧一次柴，室温可以达到22度。
Ja tämä on vähän moderni huone, koska tästä sivulla tulee eniten ilma. Tässä tulee 2/3 osa näin sisään.
Aha, okei.
Ja 1/3 tulee alhaalta.
2/3的空气是从侧面吹进来，然后1/3的空气是从下面吹的。这种吹气的那个给氧系统是一种现代的。
这里面是空的啊。
这里面是空的。垒砖。
Ja se tulee se menee yksi iso kanava näin. Ja sitten se menee alas kanava ja sitten ulos piipun.
然后再出去，就是说它在先在里面循环2次。
我想做那个生态设计，也是基于一个就是人类对这个环境的尊重，实施一个非。
少技术的
你再说一遍，你再说一遍，说这个。
就这里面它是用砖垒的一个，外面抹的是粘土，是1份粘土2份沙子，加上一些稻草，然后加上一些酸奶，酸奶的味，然后增加难度，然后。
For the whole, well, under 20 euros, and you get like, I'm not sure, 5 of these you get like.
他说
它不是，它这儿有一个别针，你看，直接可以别热的，有意思。
This is Undama demonstrate tässä.
这个是周期的。
就是后来都是这种原木的，然后中间有一个。不是，我们用的是那个楼房。
哎，我一直以为松达是龙。我操，这么牛逼！
好玩啊！公园。
是那个本地政府建的基础设施。
哦，政府建的。哦，走了。我那个厕所根本就。
下面有个蒸发池，有个管子。
哦，它是这个粪便和这个尿是一块儿进去的。
这是该给们的鱼的。
有，可以了。
做那些毛衣吗？可以啊。对啊，它会相信的。它当然。
好痒。
是一条横线来的。不知道哎，羊都是这样的吗？
哎呦，真是。
就它们的瞳孔都是一条线。
滚滑你屁股。
不是，这个羊是来求抚摸的，他们喜欢人给它粘，挠一挠。这个要去织一个毛衣。他的意思是说求抚摸、求拥抱。随便盖。This is the sauna building. Ah, okay, this is sauna. 有。
哦呦！
That's a sightseeing tower. Okay, you can climb up if you want. Wow. Wow. and then you are able to rent this half-hectare area where you can build.
他们就是买下了这片地之后，把它做成了一个公司制的。
没办法。什么情况？
这个房子加家具全是这老公打的。
哇哦！
房子的家具，这是07年盖的。棒了吧？这才真是一片臭。
Bluetooth。
他说很喜欢大家来参观他的树。
啊。
Yes, well, I would say that the cultural life could be there could be more. Yes, I like it too.
And I wonder when our group are here. Okay.
And then there's 13 or 14 boxes stay at Livonsaari, and then all the others go outside.
To Turku.
Mainly Turku, yes. Turku is the most of the members live in Turku.
So this is like an OU. It's like a company.
Well, it's a company, but it's a cooperative.
Cooperative.
Yes, it's not osakeyhtiö.
这是一个食品合作社。
It's cooperative. So vegetables, first they have to be members in the cooperative, and they have to pay a certain amount of money for the membership.
Okay.
And then they pay another amount of money for the vegetables.
May I ask how much? Just for
yes. Well, the membership costs 50 euros, and that's only one time. And then once you paid for membership, then you don't have to pay it again. And then the vegetable boxes for this season 4 months they cost 250 euros. Who get paid for the work. And all the others are volunteers.
Okay. How many volunteers do you have?
It varies, so that
他是唯一的一个拿工资的。
At the moment there is only one. But normally we have
只有一个人在这工作。How big is your farm?
Well, just more about the volunteers. So we have a different kind of volunteering groups, or different kind of groups of volunteers, so to say. And the most important group is so-called EVS. And this is European Voluntary Service. And that is a program financed from the EU, European Union.
Like this.
Yeah, this is made from chicken sheet.
有时候他们也从外面买一些就是工厂生产的鸡粪做有机肥。
Yes, and it's another product is made from a slaughterhouse product, which is when animals are slaughtered, then there's this which is rest, all the rest, bones and that kind of things, and then they make it fine.
也有从屠宰场买的。
功夫，我操，这是功夫。
巨型大树都是。
这掉哪去了？ 哎呦，咱们能吃这么多吗？哎，接下来的一个。哎呀，这个有点坏了，这个。行行行，我们先吃一个吧。嗯。
So you two didn't go to holiday or?
No. No. Zec holiday means just that we don't have seminars, we don't have guests, official guests.
So therefore it's time, a lot of people have free time, usually, you know, they work for the seminar business, and so that way they have time and they can
Relax.
go on holiday or stay here and relax.
Yeah.
And right now we have a huge construction site over there. We reconstruct our roof of our main building. So, for example, I'm involved in there, so that's one of the reasons why I'm here. 5 years now, know the community like since 10 years. And right now I'm one of the 2 managing directors for the Zec company, which is running the seminar business. And as well in the Council of Gen Europe. You know, Gen is divided into different regions, and I'm in the Council of Gen Europe.
I'm here in this community. The community is founded in 1978. So Zec was one step in 1991. And I'm in the community since 30 years. And so on the one hand I give seminars in community building and Zec Forum. We developed a type of communication in the community that creates transparency and trust.
Yes,
maybe yeah. And I do these seminars also. The seminars I also do in Spain and in the US and other countries also, and in Germany. So usually we help groups get started and start with a good communication. And tell you is how we do it, and of course the Chinese culture is different. And so you have to find a translation also in the way we do it. So, I mean, I can give you a bit of the history. The community started in 1978. And it was only a few people who started, like 6 people or something. And they invited friends. And they lived in a house for rent. They rented a house. And then the main thing they did in the beginning was to find, to work on truthful communication. So if I'm not afraid of the reactions of the others, if I'm not afraid, how would I live? So they did a lot with that. They used art, performance also, to express it. And so the main conflict situations in our culture is money, authority, and sexuality. So they put a lot of focus on these issues. Because we found that the most important is that we don't hide. And today I would even say, inside us, beyond our socialization of culture, there is nothing to hide. And as in our culture, there's marriage, and there's a lot of prostitution and going with others, but secretly. So they thought creating openness and clarity in what we want also sexually, and loving and all this is very important. Of course, in the beginning, we probably went too far to get rid of all the borders. And now here, the idea is to find out how do I want to live my relationship life, my love life, my sexual life, and there's the possibility to do it. And on the basis of a lot of trust, and trust because there's a lot of communication. So of course, this is now 35 years later. and it's always going and it's always moving how we deal with these issues. We don't like to have fixed rules, because life is always changing. Also my life, at some time I want this and another time I want this, or I need this even, and
all the world changing. Everything.
Yes.
What makes living in community possible, or what is there a secret? And what I learned it here, of course. What I learned, the most important thing is to find ways how to communicate openly with each other. And this place, or the community, found one way. That's what Achim explained, forum. And there might be other ways how you are doing it. There are other ways like, because if the things are not transparent, then they are under the table, and then at one place it will erupt, and you don't know why is that, and the reason is somewhere else, and this might endanger the whole community. They split. So in your case, it might be really interesting to start this experiment. How do we do this in China? How do we communicate? You have different culture and different ways to talk to each other and to find something that that works for you. And that, of course, could be like a role model for others in China to communicate to each other. That is part of, like, for example, I'm really involved in GEN, the Global Ecovillage Network, and that's part of the idea. I saw so many different communities, and every community is unique, does something really unique, and still they have this common ground where they are kind of the same. And I think that's the beauty, to connect each other and exchange.
Oh.
He knows more.
This is an area where we do compost.
对对对，这个好。
And this is since, I think since 15 years we get all the leaves from the trees from Belzig, from the town. That's how it looks after 1 year.
Put on the ground.
So we put it everywhere, because it's a lot of leaves from the whole city.
Oh.
And here I don't know if you heard about terra preta, black earth. We have to produce it.
Okay.
So we use biochar, coal.
Yes.
From like the wood you see over there, this will be turned into biochar, the wood that we can't use for burning.
Oh.
And so what we do is we use biochar and collect urine and soak it in urine.
都是肥料。
And
对对
and
对。
yes, and to charge it up so it has lots of nutrients, because in this sand there's no nutrients.
Do you use shit?
A little bit, but it's a bit critical, because it's not allowed in Germany. We have a compost toilet and we use it, but we can't declare it.
It's not going into the garden.
Okay.
It's going into the woods or to improve there.
But with the urine it's different, because it's sterile.
Yeah.
And so we have barrels. We sometimes, when we have festivals, we put these barrels out and people can pee in it.
Okay.
And for the woman with the seat, a bit lower.
Yeah.
So we collect urine, and also in the urinals, like in the restaurant, when you use the urinal, we collect the urine. And we use the kitchen waste to make bokashi. And so we make layers with the cardboard a bit, and then the leaves.
Yeah.
This is the compost heaps from last year. So all the Hokkaido is from last, which was in the seeds from the kitchen. It was seeding itself, so there was no work input.
Oh.
Just it's a gift of nature.
We can go around the corner, and the third part is like thermal solar energy, like with the sun. Solar collectors. So the solar collectors, they produce the warm water over summertime, and maybe with the help of the co-creation plants. In wintertime, the wood chips are creating most of the heat and most of the warm water. 50% of our electricity is created here, And the heat from this process goes into the heating, into this. And with the solar panels, like you see some there, we created more. We produce more or less 100% of our electricity on our own.
Do you need electricity from outside?
We need, because in the nighttime, for example, you know, we need for peak times, but what we produce each year is what we use. We say right now that maybe 85% is renewable energy, because everything is renewable except for the co-creation plant we need gas.
Yes.
And the gas is not biogas, because there is actually almost no biogas, real biogas. Because what you can buy as biogas, usually it's like from food, from corn.
Okay, yes.
And it's not really sustainable, it's not sustainable. So our idea is in the future to create this, and we have a cooperation kind of idea with the local company who is selling the gas, that maybe in 5 years' time we can create something that there's a real biogas production somewhere here, but that's a dream.
哦，哦哟，这还有很多这个，你看，哎，太好了，哇哦，这是。
This is a little bit clean water already. This is how it looks pretty good.
Clean water.
Not clean.
Not clean. Oh.
Wastewater?
Well, as I said, it comes on the surface with these pipes, and then it goes down, and what collects here is pumped back again, and the last bit is going out. So this is already much cleaner than in the beginning.
So 就是说这个地表，就这些植物收集地表水，通过这些管子就收集到这里，然后完了之后，这个满了之后，他们就把它抽出来，然后重新再来循环。所以经过植物这样几次循环之后，这个水基本就很干净了。So these are the daily wastewater you have from.
我操，你看这全是蚯蚓，多好。
Because we ourselves are more than we have right now. We are 120 people. And when we have guests, we sometimes have guests, have 400 people as guests.
因为他们这儿有120居民，然后再加上访客，有的时候也达到400多人，他们的生活污水都是这样处理。
You can smell it. So this is just the liquid. And this goes out on the surface. And then part.
And the people will have their farm here?
No, mostly inside.
Okay. And this place most for which activity?
In summer is the kitchen, because people eat here.
Oh, and they make the food here.
Yeah. In summer this is a kitchen, but now.
Yes. Did you make this?
Yes.
Yeah. Very proud.
Yes.
Very beautiful.
That's already.
看呀，蓝色好看哎。
More paint, yeah.
哦，蓝色多好看啊！为什么女校比较？
这增加了一些东西，画了一些东西。
You have that. We don't have that in Finland.
这个挺好哈。哎，这个泥不是一般泥了。
So actually I'm living in this, on this floor, on the first floor. My room is there. And you can imagine when they started the construction work, there was the container down there.
Okay.
And from up there you would jump the tiles.
Okay.
And it was boom! 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 And I was waking up at 6:30 in the morning.
So this is very much a multi-functional room. Sometimes we have conferences in here, sometimes meditation, sometimes theater or music, everything.
Yes. How to build community. Turn off your TV, leave your house.
It's much more, too much, too more,
But
too much.
all in German. All in German.
How many reader you have? How many distribution you have?
Of the SEC magazine, we don't do it anymore.
Ah, okay.
Now it's only electronic.
Okay. So how many people register or?
I don't know. We have our address list. In summer.
哇，如果没有围住的话很危险的，我们
对。
这是鸟。
又来了。又来了。
它会飞出来，应该不会吧？我的领地意识很强，所以我在看标会有反应过了。它就在手，它就会这样。
走不动了，怀孕了。你看走的啊，真像个。这不怎么皮革的？
哇，有那么大！
Also because the tree is like to get rid of them.
Is it a bird room? Bird's house?
I don't know if somebody is living in there.
Somebody living. Yeah, Guanhua. See you. 哎呦
Have a good time.
Good time. Good luck.
Have a good travel. Thank you for
Take care.
Take care.
Nicht hier drinnen ist verboten.
这个创办人呢是罗杰弟兄，从瑞士来的，在1940年那个时代呢，就刚刚欧洲世界大战开始啊，所以他来到这里，就有意创办这个团体呢。当时没有想到那么多人来，也不是为了那么多人来才创办这个团体，而是一个小团体，还是你们那个7个10个人一同生活啊，基督徒他们有祈祷啊。为教会合一，当时为世界和平啊，是这个很简单的。所以他来这里买一个房子，其实是田地啊。好了，这田地就跟其他这个村民问都觉得现在那么大啊，以前都没有那么大的。做的时候，他三年一个人住在这里，没有人跟他三年。
郊区，比然后这个离得不远，一会儿。
到了吗？什么时候去？荷兰说的啊？你见过？
我们就是安安静静啊，每天就这样祈祷、生活、接待、服务，就是这样。
我这是饭馆门口的。好，来，这个。
Friends, and before this travel, I don't know them very well, but now I think that we are friends and I know them better than before.
Yeah, so the life in today, it's really amazing because you're always together with young people in your age from all over the world. We just met people from China, from France, from Europe, from Netherlands, and yeah, also the feelings, the atmosphere. I mean, in the church and the prayers, I think with all this amount of people and the songs, you can really feel somehow like the spirit. And yeah, it's a really nice place to to think about the life, to think about yourself, and also about your future.
And I think, you know, when you're under pressure in your job, in your studies or in your school and you just feel very empty, just feel very powerless, it's a very, very good thing to come here, to gain some power again.
And that's a really good place to meet people, because I think the people that are here, they have somehow also common interest. Also with believing, and also about to speak, you can speak really good here about life, about the world, about God, about religions, yeah.
And if you just look at this, you know, people dancing in the rain, it's very nice.
Yeah.
But you know, back at home you would say, no way, people are watching me. It's embarrassing to do this. But here you just don't care. That's very nice.
You just do. We're all one world.
And you cannot decide where you are born. And you cannot decide if you are Muslim or Christian actually, because you are born into this country, and you know your parents, they baptize you, they send you to baptize, and well, it's not really a choice. But I mean, we are all people, and I think we should be united here. It's very nice.
Great, you mean great? 9.
Yeah, I mean it looks very simple, but it's nice that everyone has to do something so it works. And it's very important that everyone has a job, because there are no employees. Yeah.
There are some disappointments.
Maybe the food. Yeah, maybe the food. But when I came here, I knew that the food isn't very good, because I was here 2 times, so I knew it. But she was a bit disappointed, I guess.
Vom Essen. You told me.
Yeah. Enttäuscht. And maybe that we have to get up that early, because the church starts at 7:45. 8:30.
Yeah.
That's too early for me. Yeah.
I have never seen something like this. It's a special place. Yeah, but everyone is. It doesn't matter how you look or what you do. Everyone is very nice to you, and this is so special. In our town, it's not so.
Yes, you can go to everyone and start talking with them, even you don't know them, and it's normal here.
Nobody discriminates you. It's a community. It's a big community, and everyone, it's very nice.
它是一个特别小心眼儿。如果它不是有攻击性的话，它早就被灭掉了。如果你仔细量助人为乐什么什么，对吧？我可以接受让大家信一个向善的。
那么是。
不过时间很紧张。没大，全是东西。就他把。 奇怪，他不是亚特兰蒂斯文明。
那历史上各个文明。公开的一个智慧的。
地水火风。这也是一个能量图案。应该是。 那这个地方的这个食物、水、能源和钱，就是 food, water, energy and money. How to get?
We have several communities, and each community has its own project. So, for example, we have one community which project is the actually production of food. mostly they do it for the community, but they also sell it outside on the outside market. But let's say in the range of 50 kilometers that are nucleus, which are now 25. We have 25 nucleus. Yeah, then we have one nucleo, for example, whose main point is of developing self-sufficient energy sources with solar panels and windmills and all kinds of ways that you can actually produce energy. And we have also not only people who live in the community, but also people who come to the community as guests or New Life people. New Life, I hope that Anoa explained what New Life is the project of introducing people to Damanhur, which lasts for 3 months, and people there have the ability and the opportunity to learn more about Damanhur and to learn more about what Damanhur is actually. So we have 3 potential ways of earning here in Damanhur. One is to work in the community and for the community. So all the people in the federal offices. Then we have other people who actually work outside. So they work as all other people outside of this community work, for example, in companies in Turin also, or in the neighboring cities. And then they support the community from that point as well. I would say maybe around third. Around third, yeah. That's really my guess estimate. It's not an exact fact, but I think that there are around 100. Yeah, the newest entry to the community was born a month ago. Okay. So the primal responsibility for the child is always by the parents. So it is that the main responsibility is from the parents. But that doesn't mean that other people from the community are not responsible for the child. From economic point of view, in a sense of contributing to the raising, material raising, also the child, giving it food and clothes and things like that, but schooling, but also spiritual and moral support, in a sense of really being there, because we, for example, if in your community lives a child, then one part of your responsibility also is to care for that child, giving it time, talking to the child, giving it support. Yeah, we have educational system till elementary school, and then in middle school and high school they go to schools that are nearby in the region.
What is the core idea of your education, like primary school education?
It's the same as our philosophy, which is working with hands, and they're actually learning with their hands, in a sense of not learning only in class when someone else gives them the information of what they have to know, but really bringing them outside of the actual class context and giving them concrete experience from which they can learn. For
他在这儿工作，就是也是采访，也是接受采访也是他的工作吗？
Yes.
面对媒体，他主要是媒体发言人。
哦，这样，那他这个工作就是说是有工资的是吧
And also you're paid for doing the work.
Yes.
谁决定了这个工资？
If you work inside, then is the decision of the federal body, which means Reguida and the people who are responsible in the community. And they work just like any other company. They have a budget and they have to stick to the budget. Yeah, we have different bodies. We have the one body which is more responsible, and their main role is the spiritual guiding of the community, and they are called the Saji, which means the wise man.
Yeah, the sage.
Yeah, and we have 2 groups of 3 sage men. And then we have, but they are mostly responsible for the overall spiritual development of the community. Then we have the Reguida, which means king guides, and they're responsible for the overall practical responsibility of the community. So each nucleo in itself, so each family has one representative, which coordinates in a sense of this community and works with the Reguida toward the accomplishing of projects and well-being of that community also. But what is really the most important thing is that all roles that are covered in Damanhur are temporary roles.
Oh, okay.
Before the second round, you actually go in front of the popolo, in front of everyone, and say what you did and what was your accomplishment in that period. And then the popolo says whether they think that you did a good job or you didn't do such a good job, and whether you are eligible for a new period, so a new role.
Okay. Maybe there's some differences between the collective, like between the result of the election and the spiritual direction of where you should go. Or
yeah, that
does it happen?
It does happen rarely, though, because we are all part of the School of Meditation. That means that we have all the same core values which we actually nourish in our daily work and daily life, which then brings to the fact that rarely it can happen that someone actually decides something which is not in line with the core values of the community. But if something like that does happen, then we have a body which actually evaluates whether this was in line or not in line with the... We have the School of Meditation, which is actually the first body of Damanhur. We have several bodies of Damanhur, but the first and the most important one is the actual School of Meditation, which is a system where the actual knowledge, esoteric knowledge, passes to all people who are part of Damanhur.
I've been living in Damanhur for 7 years. I work in the public relations office, in the communications, mainly with writing, with translations, with our online communications, our blog and newsletter.
What did you do before you come here?
Oh, many different things. When I was in San Francisco, I was working at a worker-owned grocery co-op, a large vegetarian food store. And I also worked as a massage therapist and yoga teacher and dancer. So doing many different kinds of work. And I'm also an artist and a writer.
So what's the biggest disadvantage of Damanhur, you think? Because everyone's talking about good things about Damanhur.
Yes. The biggest disadvantage. Well, I think living in community isn't something that's very easy to do, because if I live in an apartment or a house on my own, then every day I can go back to my own house and my own space and have control over everything and really stay in something that's familiar, that's a pattern, that's a habit. Whereas living in community, I live in a house with 20 other people, and so I'm hardly ever alone. Just, a few moments that I choose, but I eat with other people and I cook for other people, and you're constantly having meetings and dinners together and social events and welcoming guests. And all of this interaction, sometimes it can be very overwhelming to always be in contact with people. And also it's very enriching, because it increases the diversity that I know in the world, and also the diversity within myself. And so it accelerates my personal growth in a way.
So what do you think of the life in city and the life here, the connection word?
Well, I don't think I could go back to living in a city, because I really like living in nature now. And I've spent a lot of time living in nature and in a quieter place with clean air and clean water and a lot of green around. so. But I think Damanhur, in some ways, it has the best of many different worlds because it's very close to nature, as if you're living in the countryside, although there's also a lot of intellectual and cultural stimulation. Like a lot of amazing people come to visit, and every day I meet people who are writers, who are artists, who are community activists and researchers, and have traveled all over the world and are from all different countries. And so in this way, it's like having the stimulation and the social contact of living in a big city or living in some international center.
So have you met Falco?
Yes.
The lady told us he's from the future. Is that right?
Yes, this is part of his story.
Okay.
Is that he came here from the future.
Can you tell more about the details about the future man?
Well, he comes from a point in the future where it's a very important point in terms of continuing as a human race to have a divine spark inside, because we see and we believe that every human has a divine spark, so a part of us that is divine, that is connected to the divine and to spirit. And there's danger of losing this because of the destruction that we are creating as a human race. So there is a point of really losing this connection with the divine and losing our opportunity to continue life on earth as human beings. And so he came back on a mission to this particular point in time to create a change. To create a change and create a new timeline, so a new future that leads to a world of peace. And so this is the intention of Damanhur, is to gather other souls that have the same intention of preserving, reawakening, protecting the spiritual essence of human beings, and to carry it on to the future, and also to protect the earth as our home.
I know Damanhur intrigued a lot of public attention, and
Mm-hmm.
what is the focal attention from the outside world? Like, what does journalists most concerned of?
We have many journalists who come and also researchers who come in Damanhur. Everything which is different attracts attention. Sometimes positive, sometimes also negative, in a sense of people being scared. And when something new is born, that people are usually afraid because it puts into question mark their own lifestyle. So it's normal also to expect a certain negative feedback from the outside. But the majority of people and majority of journalists come here really from pure curiosity point of view, of really learning and finding out what Damanhur is all about. Because now it's a reality which exists for already 40 years. So it's not anymore something which is, let's say, controversial new, but it's more something which people also around in this community in Italy also see that it's something which is valid and it's something that lasts for a long time. So they come here to research what is it and how does it function.
So yesterday we met a father from Milan, from Torino, and actually he has very strong negative opinion against Damanhur, and we wonder what is the relationship with the church and how come that a Catholic father can be so he tried to stop us from coming here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, how come?
Well, Catholic Church is pretty, it's the main religion in Italy, as it is in surrounding countries as well. So it's not something that that is new or something that is surprising. And I mean, I can understand the fact that maybe the church as a main religion here in Italy is being maybe threatened also by different reality who were born in and who are new in this time frame.
Is Damanhur against Christ or against church or anything like that?
Damanhur is not against anything. Damanhur is pro everything. In a sense of Damanhur really accepts and thinks that the differences are the one that bring value to the humanity. And so every different aspects of also belief.
Good.
For example, we might not agree on the philosophy of it with certain religions and in a religion per se, in a sense of something that you take for granted. But this is one thing, and the other thing is really respecting the choices of everyone. Because what Damanhur cherishes the most is really the responsibility of each individual and the possibility of each individual to choose for himself. So the free will is something that goes beyond any. We are currently right now in the open temple, and the main purpose of open temple is to really welcome and gives the opportunity for all belief system, all religions to also do their own rituals here. This is the reason why it's called open temple, because it's open. I have many hopes and dreams. This is the reason why I came to Damanhur, because Damanhur gives the opportunity to work on those dreams. And I really do dream that this planet can be a better place. I hope that many communities, smaller communities, will arise on the planet, because communities give the opportunity for individuals to express themselves more freely than it is currently available. And I hope that we will find a way to be characterized by our own belief system, but as well to be able to respect differences and be able also to learn from differences. I mean, Damanhur's philosophy was always to be very connected to the surroundings and very useful also to the community outside. This is the reason why many Damanhurians are volunteers, and many Damanhurians are also involved in the actual politics of the region. We have many representatives in the political system of the region, because we do want to contribute and we do want to be a part of the larger system that we are in. We don't want to be isolated. So we do think that Damanhur can and is really giving something to the surroundings, mainly by example, in a sense of giving people the opportunity to see Gesundheit. Giving people the opportunity to see that there is a different way to live, and that there is a different way to organize ourselves as people, social organization different. But we don't think that we all have to be like Damanhur. We just have to work on and to express what really are our core beliefs. And we do hope that Damanhur is an inspiration to the people, that is an inspiration to the world, in a sense of if it can be a spur of inspiration for someone else to build a community, for example in China, then that's our mission. And sometimes the best thing that you can do for society is actually by giving a different example, because you cannot fight the system. You cannot by war stop something from happening or stop something from being. You can only give your own example of how can it be and how people can live together. And this can be the biggest spur for someone to change.
Legata alla pittura, quindi qui si fa anche progettazione, ma invece già...
Allora, qui in questa zona, scusate, noi abbiamo appena finito le pulizie, praticamente è già progettata, ma questo è il forno per fare le cotture e le fusioni in vetro. Io copro completamente il vetro di ossido, arabica, eccetera, e poi vado a togliere questo
Non lo capisco neanche io. Years ago, so it's still been used.
Il moderno c'è la molatrice.
Yeah, and this
To
is
make this.
Yes.
even this one. You can see that they're all being.
Così tu vai a picchiettare in questo modo e ti viene via. Soffi e questa viene via fino a quando ovviamente devi andare in maniera molto delicata. Per fare questi volti li abbiamo fatti insieme io e lui, in alcuni casi andavamo proprio con un pennino, con un cutter.
Questo è il primo, quelli nel tempio sono
più belli.
So there's sand in it.
Quindi dentro c'è questa polvere.
Esatto,
Sì,
dentro al vetro.
Quando poi si mette in fusione diventa tutt'uno con il vetro e ha
Per cui
una
è
durata.
eterna, è una pittura eterna.
Yeah.
Finché resiste il vetro esiste la pittura. Sono le cattedrali in Francia che hanno vetrate in grisaglia che hanno già 700 anni, sono del 1300, più di 700 anni e sono ancora lì.
Ah sì, devo dire
sì.
Puoi parlare
io. Sì, I paint in the temple with Pangolino and some other painters, and I teach art at in our familiar school. And as the same, I'm a free professional, so I work outside Damanhur too, in paintings, restoring much more wall paintings, decoration, and so on. And that's it. That's what I do. So, yeah, the importance is for us is to transmit a meaning. The meaning is fundamental, because what we want to do is an art which lives because it has a meaning inside. So, for example, if we represent all the divinities of the earth, it's important how the divinities of the earth are going to be perceived, as Pangolino told. For example, we can represent the divinity of the world which are fighting between themselves. No? It's normally in mythology and so on, is full of divinities and god and goddess who fight and things like that. We wanted to represent them in something is in a complete brotherhood, maintaining their own characteristics. For example, the god of war, or the goddess of love, or the god of writing, or something else, but in a complete brotherhood, in a complete friendliness, because we believe that the diversity could be a richness of the human being, but only if the diversity is inside a complete, come si può dire, in a complete in equilibrio, in a containing. So,
common container.
Come si dice?
Common container.
Common container, yes. That's why we are going to represent all the divinities, all the vegetables, all the races of the earth in the different times and so on, maintaining anyway a particular common container which is, just to pass for me philosophical meaning, something as a one, but divided in some pieces of this mirror. To use a metaphor we use normally is that we believe that the human being is a god, which is something as a mirror, is one, and to enter in this world of the forms, it smashes itself and it divides itself. So every one of us could have inside a piece of this mirror. Everyone, every dog, every man, every woman, every flower, everything. But it is divided because in the world of form is divided. So we are doing it artistically for the forces, the divinities, and everything our senses could perceive.
Quindi il pittore da manoriano, anche se gli artisti in genere lo sono, ma noi con più consapevolezza siamo proprio dei medium di quella che è la storia e la filosofia di Damanhur. Personalmente è una missione di vita vivere a Damanhur per creare una cultura e una civiltà che non c'è oggi, cioè per me non è ancora così sviluppata, è per cui è una grande sfida creare una nuova cultura, una nuova civiltà su questo pianeta oggi. Qui.
Questo è un buon motivo anche per continuare a lavorare nello stesso posto, perché tutti i lavori che ognuno di noi ha fatto anche fuori per altri committenti che non sono Damanhur, non sappiamo quanto vengano apprezzati, non sappiamo dove siano, cioè sappiamo dove sono, però ovviamente non possiamo godere della gratificazione. Sì.
Sì, ma guarda.
Faccio sconvolta. No,这个他们是获得联合国公约数还是？
关于一些钱的事儿，关于一些政府的。
Was damit los ist. Steuerzölle nimmt man eigentlich. Jetzt. Weiter.
How do you connect with your
Wow,
with alcohol?
it's cool.
Actually, any. Sorry,
It's a new kind of live outside because here in Berlin there are many Wagenburg.
Wagen?
Wagenburg.
Okay, yeah.
With wagons or houses.
Yes.
We need other kind of living because we occupied this place. This is an occupied place.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about to occupy a place in the middle of Berlin. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And therefore I thought about tippies. He said to me, make tippies. And it's a good idea because the government is, what is this? I don't know, it's not a Wagenburg. What is this? No, they are
confused.
Confused, yes, the English word confused. And they accepted more, I think. Therefore we are staying here since 3 years and longer. Because they are confused, the politicals. Yes, my team is the oldest, and then it was coming James. It's a Spanish man.
Oh. 他们3个人。So you're German?
Yes.
Ah, okay. So you're also from here, from Berlin, or?
No, I'm from West Germany.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
I came here to Berlin 1981.
他1981年来到柏林，从西。
And arrived in East Germany when the wall was breaking down.
Yeah. 就是东西德合并之后，他就来到了东柏林。
And here was.
Yeah. Okay.
So they are old friends.
So you're old friend. You know each other.
Yeah.
We know us from East Berlin. From the same street, we was neighbors in the same street. Neighbors, yes. We lived in a neighborhood. And then we met us on another place. The next bridge down here, the Warschauer Bridge.
因为他们在那个就是华沙街，咱晚上去那个桥那儿认识的。
Yeah, where the old border is. And there we started with 5 small tents to occupy the place at Warschauer Bridge.
在那个桥底下。
And then we, when this place was not possible anymore because they threw the people out, because was too much people. There are too much criminality.
Yes.
And then we moved with the stuff of the tipis that we
here to this place.
did build there. We moved with the stuff to
这
here.
2年前他们就从华沙街那儿搬到这儿来了，带着他们的丈夫。哇。
那有意思。
Yeah.
Crazy, ne?
So, like, why do you decide to like occupy a place and live? What is your motivation?
Freedom.
自由，他说是为了自由。
没错，我是第二个
To
问题
live
是这个。
outside.
Yes，他说他喜欢在户外。
Oh.
To live outside of the
Yes,
nature.
I like it too.
Yes.
I like it
他说
too.
这样。
The real thing was that I was sick, and my friend was sick. We was both sick. We lost our boats, our ships, and relationships sick. And we moved to the other place
to be healthy
and slept in small tents. And I had to stand up in the night because I got pain after an accident.
Okay.
And then I thought about to make big tents for me to stand up in the night to
okay, to help your leg.
to walk and to stay, that I get no more pain. And then we started to build tipis.
He teach me. He's my teacher.
Ah, wow. So where did you learn it?
I didn't learn it. I just started to do it and then it happened.
Yes, and I did it too.
直接就开始搭，然后就会了。
啊，是吗？
是在建起来才会。
Is technology is from India?
No.
Is it from
Mongolia. No, not Mongolia. Siberia.
小边是西伯利亚的。
And Tibet.
Yeah. So he was asking how many people are living here in Tibetan.
This moment, 50.
now.
50.
现在有50个人
Yes.
all living in tents.
50.
So anyone can come here and build their own tent and stay.
No,
here?
no, 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 no. They have to ask us if they can
Okay.
sleep here for a while.
他们要来住的话，得先问他们能不能。
对
Oh, the fire smoking. Die brennt ja ganz schön.
It's a fire.
Jetzt ist schon.
No, it's
没关系，没关系，我看看这个。
Sometimes 100 people. Sometimes a day.
Okay.
Yes, thousands of people sometimes. But I cannot don't recognize about all the people. I only remember about you and you, but not the other people. There are too many people sometimes.
他说有时候每天来的人都太多了。
太多了哦。
And in my tipi, there are only small, very few visitors in my tipi.
他的客人也不是特别多。
更多人在这里，那么更多的人在这里短期住还是长期住？
So do they come to stay for a while or do they come to be a member?
No, we are stuffed. You see, we have a very small place.
Yes.
Ja, jetzt ist Feuer. Jetzt brennt das Feuer doch.
Ja, ich habe es angezündet, damit es abbrennt.
Jetzt qualmt noch mehr jetzt.
Aber es ist gleich aus.
Da muss ich aufmachen, aber das habe ich jetzt keinen Bock.
Das reicht.
I have to open it, but I'm too lazy now.
哦 ，OK。他说他应该把上面打开，但他现在太懒了，懒得动。
哦。
So ein Stück Kratz im Hals.
我想一想啊，刚才他说是短住长住是怎么回事？
就应该是他说来的人太多了。
Guck mal, Jerry, so muss es doch sein, ne? Ich sitze hier und Sprachen hauen auf mich rein. Ich komme mich schon wie auf Star Trek Voyager, so ein bisschen.
除了这两位，还有更多的人在这儿长期居住吗？
So how about the long-term residents in Tipiland? Are there people who stay for years or more than several months?
The most people are staying here for years, ne? Some 15 people.
大部分人有15个人在这儿长住。
常都是长期居住的。
But the visitors.
He's asking if you have so many visitors, how do you organize for food, water, energy?
But the visitors have their own food. I cannot feed
对，
them.
每个人自己带吃
They
的。
are not poor.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. 那我们的钱呢？在我们的东西怎么来？就是15
So for the 15 people, where do you get the food or money or?
Wie? Oh, it's a long story.
哦，这是这个说来
Everybody,
话长。
the people here. I'm not working. I'm lazy. I'm painter. I'm
他
an
不工
artist.
作，他是个
I'm
艺
an
术家，他
artist.
只画画，他不上班。
But the other people here are they collecting empty bottles.
啊哈。
Here in Germany, you know,
Yes, they
Pfand,
sell it,
Pfand,
yeah.
empty bottles.
有的人是
Many people here are
捡
street musicians,
也有人在街上表演音乐。
Straßenmusiker, street guitar or something on the street, or in the
在
bars.
演出的，或者自己把演出。
Many people they here make artists, jonglieren und
有好多人是玩艺术、玩杂技。
Circus. and he's a musician too. He's playing in bars.
哦，他也是个音乐家，是弹大提琴的，
是
大提琴。
Yeah, his guitars.
Oh, guitar.
Yeah,
yes,
guitars.
yes. Oh.
低音吉他的，Yeah,
Cool.
Cool. Are you a singer also, or some rock and roll?
Shall we make rock and roll?
No, you look like the rock and roll.
Yes, of course.
看起来很像。
Sometimes when we are stoned, we make good rock and roll.
他说有时候那个嗨了，嗑
Good rock and roll.
嗑嗨了就玩点 rock and
对
roll.
Looks like a rock star.
Yeah.
Looks like a...
I am. He's a rock star.
He's a rock star.
I'm too, but I'm
we are
a painter.
他说他是个画家。
And this is my art.
这就是他的艺术作品。
This crazy things. I love to live in crazy things.
他喜欢住在疯狂的东西里面。
Good idea.
Nice. And he was asking, how did you find this area to be occupied?
Yes, I was with a girl here in the past.
他曾
It's
经
a
跟一个女孩在这里。
Turkish belly dancer.
是一个土耳
Long
其的
black hair and
跳肚皮舞的
she
女
had
孩。
And I was making love in the bush here years ago.
他跟那个女孩曾经在这里
With Sally,
混过一段。
Sibila. And then I was with her here and making love, but she's away now. She very long years. And I remember of it, this place, because the love was very good. And then I remember it's a good place, a magic place. I will start here Tibiland.
OK， 所以后来他就从那边赶走之后，他就老记得这个地儿，所以这就是有过一段快乐的时光。所以就会，他说是一个非常重感情的人。Yes, we can see that.
Yes. Yeah, we come together more than 3 years ago in small tents at the other bridge.
Yes.
And he was always crying.
Oh.
About
not
crying about Sally. Oh, Sally.
Okay.
And I had a relationship with a woman in the east, and I was crying about Iris, so we crying together. Oh, Iris, oh, Sally. And started to build big tippies. Then we cut all the bushes here and make the passes.
Yeah, we make the path.
Okay, cool. Yay. 这个香在这里面真好看。那个什么，我现在就回去了，咱7点钟吃饭。好，8点钟，如果你们想聊的话，可以去那个昨天的酒吧找他们聊天。好，今晚如果先走了。我也回去。
应该是从后头。
And they yeah. So now this is the place where we feed them, and you can see they don't like green tomatoes. They didn't eat the leftovers of the melons. And what I see from yesterday, it looks like they were not here yesterday. They find anywhere else something. So I can read. I wish me at first translate. I watered everything, but it's so dry. And so the ants now they bring away a lot.
微观世界建设区。
这是他撒的种子，然后现在蚂蚁给搬
什么牌？
非常潮湿多雨，冬天。
Meaning I like most of it. If you look at the three, imagine there's a love from one person to another one that doesn't create fear in a third one.
他最喜欢就是这个三个人，一个人爱特别是一个人
for this you need the circle, the community that holds that. You have to know that this project was founded in Germany and also had to leave Germany because it was impossible to go on work on this topic in Germany.
他们这个项目是在德国创建，但必须要离开，就有点被赶走了，在德国没有办法继续这个工作。But Zeg is still there.
Yes.
And they're working on.
他们不一样吗？
So what's the core difference between you and Zeg? Zeg is also talking about free love.
We are not talking about free love so much.
Yeah. Okay.
We are talking about creating a new culture of mutual support, and this is a decentralized culture that is reconnecting human culture with nature, with the truth of nature. That is, free love is a part of it, or a part of natural lifestyle, we would say, but it is not the goal. We are talking about fundamental change in cultural structure to create a culture that doesn't lead to war, which at the moment any culture you look at is creating war.
And why you have to leave Germany because of this?
Maybe I first come to here and then it's easier when you see what we are doing here, as you're also interested in ecological question, is to show that the decentralized autonomous systems are possible. And if you look at our situation in 2007, Tamara was fully dependent in food import, was not sustainable in water and in energy questions. And then we said we want to invest in a change. In 2007 still we were importing 95% of the food we were consuming here.
就在几年前，就2007年的时候，他们这里95%的食物都是靠进口的，他们在食品、水源和能源上都很大程度上依赖于外界。
We had only 5% of our energy solved without using fossil fuels.
他们只有5%的新能源，所以他们希望能够投资于这个自给自足。
And we knew we need this as a political and a humane statement to show that local regional autonomy is possible.
所以他们觉得他们需要这个案例作为一个，就是政治上来说，就是一个本地化的，区域的这样的一个独立是可能的、可行的。
Because we know that everything we import comes from a system that provokes war, that is based on war.
他们进口的这些东西都来自于一个创造暴力的系统。Yeah, Chinese system is very violent.
And now we are in a completely different situation. We can say we are fully independent. We have not only sustainable but regenerated water supply on the land. We already produce, not yet 100%, but big part of our vegetable, of what we eat here. This is a major shift. And we produce around 80% of our energy on the site.
从07年到现在，他们已经基本实现了自给自足这一点。他们80%的食物都是就超过60%的蔬菜是自给自足的，然后80%的能源是自给自足，而且他们这个水资源不仅达到了自给自足，而且还可以是持续更生、更替再兴的。
So we can show that local autonomy is possible.
所以他们就是奠定了这个地区可持续发展的这个典范。
And being locally autonomous, we are independent.
然后这样他们就实现了独立。
As independent people, we are free.
他们就会自由。
As free people, it's difficult to govern us.
作为自由人就很难统治他们。
And this is not yet politically wished.
Not yet political.
Wished.
Wished, okay. By
government doesn't like to
support people who are ungovernable.
所以他们这个就实现了无政府主义，地方政府并没有期待这样的结果。
In a capitalistic system like we also have in Europe, the most focus is on control. We look into the world, we see that these, I would call it now, old structures are collapsing all over the world. And we decided, also looking to the world, how many youth is standing up, wanting to change something, to work on a vision for what? Because to fight against the system is one thing, but then comes a moment where the question comes, and what do you want to live? And the question, do we have answers to this? And in whole Europe, it is only one handful of communities who survived the last 30 years.
在欧洲，只有个位数的一些社区是在过去30年之中活下来的，很少。
我认为这探索很有意义。对，就是整个的 social， 整个社会的这个是正向的，就是说这是一个，就是对于全部社会来说是一个很好的事情。对，可能短时间会有一些阻碍吧。
For human society is very meaningful and positive. It will face in the short term resistance and obstacles, but in long term.
The human society, the humanity, you think?
Humanity, 整个社会。
Yes, yes. 这是重要 important 的。
Yes.
对。
Yes.
You have been in the test field today?
Yes, morning. Solar test field.
This follows one principle where we say when we want to talk about a change, we have to live it and we have to be it. Because it's not about creating only theory without living it.
就是说，你要是改变的话，你自己就要成为这个事实，而不是光是谈论，而是要把它做出来，然后生活在其中。
You can design beautiful eco-villages, but living them is something different.
你可以设计一个很漂亮的生态村，但你能够住在里边生活下去，这是一个很不同的事情。
And we know that social design is also very important to make community living or village living possible.
所以除了这些环境技术上的，这个社会上的设计、社区设计也是一个很重要的方面，让这个社区可以继续。
And then there are possibilities where social design, technology design and ecological design come together, architecture also, come together and form one unit that is supporting life and being supported from life. Many people, when we say free love, think in free sexuality and think their thoughts. The reality can be very different. When we say the compassion, for example, to other people. Now in Europe we have this story with the refugees from Syria, is an expression of love. If you create a culture where you can respond to that, that is an expression of love. If I'm free, I'm living in a culture that is free to respond to that, that is an expression of free love.
In building one model, completely showing one model completely, it exists as a vision in the universe, and the others will go faster around the globe. We now struggle since 40 years, but the others, if we are completely a model, they get it easier. This we believe.
Welcome. And I'll just show them the burners very quickly, and then we
do it.
Thank you.
So,
no problem.
Just to show you again, like the places where people can cook. Okay, you can see they're a little different, but it's also kind of normal. You want to cook something, you put your pot here.
So this is from solar?
This is solar. I'll explain. What's on the other side of it, I'll explain in a moment.
Okay.
But for the cooks, it doesn't require a lot of any special extra work.
Yeah.
Here's where you put something big to cook with the sun, and here's where you put normal burners for biogas. You want to fry your onions. Here's a beautiful technology, especially for places that have a lot of sunshine, like Portugal.
就是对像葡萄牙这种阳光充足的地方就很方便。
It's what it looks like. It's a big curved mirror.
就是一个凹面的镜面。
And it focuses the light so that there's a secondary reflector, and it shines all of the sunlight onto the bottom of a pot.
然后就是第一层反射，然后经过第二层反射，就射入锅底，就把能量聚在锅底。
And there's lots of different solar cookers in the world. What makes the Scheffler mirror, we call it a Scheffler mirror. It's named after the person that developed it. What makes it special is that we can.
这个叫
It's conventional. It's normal on tours to try to set something on fire. So this is probably, we haven't measured it recently, but you can see it gets hot very quickly. It's about 3,500 watts.
大概3500
So and it will boil a big community-sized soup in about 20 minutes. It's really quite a lot of power. And you can see it's this mirror is 10 years old now. It's a little bit it could be better.
用了10年了，有一点损
But it's still very powerful.
功率可以更大，但现在还是很好用。Okay, did you know how much did it cost to build such?
I think these would cost about a few thousand euros in materials and work.
几千欧元，就是从整个材料到安装就可以
And it depends on how much work you can do yourself and where you get the material from. For instance, these are not mirrors. These are recovered materials from printers.
这是他们从
So
一些
this is partly recycled material.
就一半是回收材料，就从一些就是打印机里面什么设备里回收回来的。Printer.
I don't really know what part of it.
Yeah.
But what makes the Scheffler mirror different than other cookers is especially that the way it moves to follow the sun.
OK， 这是一个自动的，跟着太阳角度会变的。
The mirror moves, but the focal spot stays fixed. It's called a fixed focus mirror.
这个太阳锅的技术就是它会随着太阳光入射的角度自动变，但是这个聚焦一直是聚焦在锅底。
So the mirror will move. There's a clockwork mechanism, an old-fashioned clock mechanism. It's made out of bicycle parts.
用自行车的自行车部件做的一个钟表，调焦的这样一个很传统的做法。So you built this yourself?
We built it ourselves, not me personally, but yes. All of this was built here.
And this is existing technology or something invented?
All of these plans you can find on the internet.
Okay, 就所有这些技术在网上都能找到。
And there's other places that build these. There's an organization in Germany called Solarbuka. Will produce, I think, around 1,200 or 1,500 watts of pumping power, right? But it's more compact. It's maybe a little bit more beautiful.
但它更紧凑，外形更美观。
And this is a system that's ready for mass production.
这个原型已经可以去量产了。
And really, what our picture is to have a system more like this complete thing, based on this Stirling motor. The thing is, like 15 years ago, Jürgen Kainwächter was developing it and was always looking for funding and support and cooperation partners. And now, what's great is that he has a lot. He has a lot of interest. And the result is that instead of sending, so we're waiting to have a complete system here, but we just don't have it yet because other people elsewhere in the world that are interested in contributing money or building them themselves are a priority for him. And I can't go into the thermodynamics, I don't think it's worth it. But so the first problem is that you arrive in a place like this and it's farmland. It's considered officially, legally, rural land, which means you can farm on it, you can build enough buildings for farming, but you can't build more.
Oh, okay.
And we've already built much more than that. And the reason we built more is because the local government is quite friendly with us. I mean, mostly, I think it's quite good. And so they're happy that we're here. We're happy that we're doing something that we bring interest and energy into the region. So they support us, but what happened is actually they got in trouble with the higher levels of government. And then they come to us, but they're still very supportive, and they say, okay, let's change the definition of the land into something else. What do you want us to change it to? And then the next problem is there's no category, right? For community, we say we want to build an ecological community. It doesn't exist in the law. There is a good plan now, and again, we have really the support of our neighbors, you could say. So there's no one against us. It's just a bureaucratic process. And what's happened, and it's already interesting. The work in itself is interesting, and these mirrors may become important for solar energy technology. But for me, just as important is the fact that here in an eco-village, that we've been able to do research and make progress further than anyone else has in one particular area. And then the question, and the reason, we have the capacity to do it, we have the experts that can do it, we have people that can work with their hands, we have a number of physicists and engineers, and we're doing work that no one else is doing. Because there's all of these areas, I mean, there's so much money being spent on research in the outside world, but it's always about profit. It's always about, and it's not necessarily about solving real human problems. So that there really is a space for a place like the Solar Village to be doing real research and real innovation in energy. Let's see, not so much. I had a whole previous life as I was a university physicist. I was more and more persuaded that what we were doing was interesting in a sense, but not important in the state of the world. I mean, as I was aware of the ecological and political and human questions that needed solutions. And that maybe when those solutions are found and human beings are not suffering, when the natural world is not being destroyed, maybe it would be worth it to figure out these, answering these questions about the natural universe on the atomic level.
The administration as well.
Yes.
It takes a lot of money. You can imagine that, and everybody has to share a bit and to take one part, and then together we could make it.
这是山毛榉是它的那个花是雌雄。
雌雄哦。
啊 ，OK， 这是一个触摸屏的屏幕。啊，对。
很棒，很棒。
来，这边还有等的。
哦呦，还有声音。
鹿的脚印。
哦，这鹿的脚印。No, this is wild boar because you see here the two little.
啊，对，野猪它有两个附趾，就是脚它是穿过去的。以前的那些森林小路都已经关闭，为了更好的保护。所以其实它是很